to an all-new episode of Tell You Later,
the show where we guarantee a laugh or your money back.
Sincere thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. By the way, there's always room for more.
Do not forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit like right now.
Hit it!
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to cruise.
But there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops.
Howdy.
Welcome back to Tell You Later, the show where you learn so much about so little and vice versa. I'm
music
Katie
publishing
Leigh, by the way. This
might
is
be
Will
upset with
Ryan, my partner in crime, my ukulele playing partner in crime.
Grime.
In grime?
Yes.
In rhyme.
No relation to Dr.
In
James
rhyme.
Grime.
In rhyme.
In rhyme. Partner
My
in rhyme.
partner in rhyme.
Okay,
Hey,
that's good.
Write that down.
Okay.
Don't forget that.
I happen to have a
We're
pen
gonna,
here.
because you know what? Will, honestly, I believe, writes a song about every
My
3 hours.
Partner
So we're gonna write a song, My Partner in Rhyme.
rhyme.
Right? We haven't
Yep.
you haven't written that before, have you?
Have
you?
No, I have not.
So this will be a first partner in rhyme song for you.
Perhaps,
Good, yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
I'm gonna commission you.
Now it's driving me crazy. Who's the president of Gene Autry Entertainment? Carla.
And it's not Gene Autry?
What's her name?
I don't know. But you do play at the Gene Autry Museum, don't you, with your
When
cowboy
there's not
band?
El Pandemia, when
El
that's not radio.
El Pandemia!
Who was that masked virus?
I don't know, but
Oh,
it sounded
masked
vaguely
virus.
like the William Tell overture.
You know what?
So
Really,
it's either
right?
Clayton Moore or William Tell.
That makes sense. Who was that masked virus? It was El Pandemia.
Right.
All
And I
right.
shall vanquish him because I am
El
El
Vaccino.
Carumbo. El Carumbo.
El Vaccinio.
And you know what my secret identity is?
What is it? Don't tell anybody.
Sabado Domingo.
That's good. Sábado Domingo. I like that.
Yeah, because I got a regular job during the day, but on weekends,
You're
I'm
Sábado.
El Carumbo. That's me.
You're Sábado. I love it.
Or c'est moi,
Did you make that up?
as they say in the French part of Mexico.
And then you would be you would be samedi dimanche.
Dimanche.
Samedi dimanche. Very good. Hey, so as we were saying,
La Saison de Dimanche.
La Saison.
That was a song published by, I don't know, Columbia Records, I guess.
Really?
Did
Did you love that record? Remember when we were younger and that girl and the whipped cream cake? You know, there was
Herb Albert's?
Sergio, yeah, Herb
Yes,
Albert's
of
and
course.
the Tijuana Brass.
Yes, that was great. It was quite an
craziest
invitation to
album
all us
cover.
little guys.
Right? All right, we'll post a picture of that. Write a note. We got to get the crew of one. We'll
Okay.
include that so you can see. There was some very, very. I mean, nowadays people see everything, but something about this album.
Yes, it was
just
so inviting.
different.
Yes, and it sold millions.
Well, she was covered in whipped cream.
Yeah, she was. And, probably because they didn't have a band yet.
Herb Alpert?
and the Tijuana Brass. It was really Herb Alpert and a bunch of session
Can
guys.
we do the music? Remember what
No.
was the song? We can't even.
No.
Oh, you
We
guys
could-
have to
we
look
could
it
do
up.
Da, 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 da. We could do public domain songs.
But not-
Burt Bacharach wrote a few of the numbers that were on
Really?
one of their albums.
I could picture that.
Yeah.
He was
But that
such
was
a good writer.
Yeah, Herb Alpert. We used to see him all the time when we were recording Welcome to Pooh Corner, because we did most of those episodes at A&M Records, And
Herb Alpert was just hanging around?
yeah, I mean, he was a co-owner of it, and there were
I didn't know that.
little hallways there. It's Charlie Chaplin's old studio. He built that studio.
Which
And
is now Henson's.
It's now owned by the Jim Henson Company.
Yep.
And in between, Charlie Chaplin
Excuse me, my phone is ringing. But let me just
went on a
stop
boat
it.
in the early 50s, little realizing that they weren't going to let him back into the country. But he found out after
Did
he
they
was on the
trick
boat,
him?
and he quickly sent a telegram to a trusted person here. Said, "Go to my safe deposit box, and get out everything and have it brought back on board. Otherwise, all of his assets in the United States would have
Was
been
it a
frozen."
trick?
He was not allowed. Charlie Chaplin was not allowed into this country
Because?
for decades and decades.
Because why?
Because those were bad times politically, and he had been involved in
Thinking?
I guess, whatever, but they were going after a lot of people. Folk singers were very, very suspect. I have a copy of Red Channel, which is it's a reprint of an issue from the early 50s, where they listed everybody that some people somewhere thought were suspect people, and because back in the 30s they went to some fundraiser for something, or they joined this club, and
Well, not
we think
to
there was a
be-
communist in the club.
Not to be current, but that kind of stuff seems to be going on right now. We don't want to make this be a political
No,
show,
no,
but,
not at all.
But certainly it had caused a lot of problems when we're suspicious of our friends and don't want them to think differently than we do. That can be a bad situation.
Yeah, it can. Things can get out of hand.
Out of
But
hand.
when you end up kicking Charlie Chaplin out of this country,
What were
and
you
who could be
thinking?
more grateful to the United States of America than Charlie Chaplin? But anyway, so when he left, when he wasn't allowed back into the country, he had to sell the studio.
Oh man,
So-
and that's why he sold it.
Yeah, so it
To
was
Herb
sold.
Alpert?
No.
Who did he
no,
sell it
to somebody else. And one of the first shows that was filmed there was The Adventures of Superman.
Really?
I don't believe the first season was, but
Was he a musician?
Charlie Chaplin?
No, Superman.
Yes. If you're talking about George Reeves. And Charlie Chaplin, of course, was a composer,
Because
songwriter,
why would he
violinist.
be at a music studio if he wasn't?
Well, it wasn't
I'm
a music. It
wondering.
was a studio. It was a movie studio.
And then they turned it into a music studio?
Well, yes, but I'm trying to do this chronologically.
You're trying to
Charlie
tell a
Chaplin
story
sold
here?
it.
Okay,
It
I'm
was
listening.
used. Hal Smith told me that they used to shoot Death Valley Days there.
On that lot?
Yeah, the first season was produced by Gene Autry, speaking of whom, and then General Electric in some way, I think. got
Oh,
involved
General,
with it.
now what war was he in?
I think he served under General Mills.
Got it, okay.
But so those were a couple of shows there.
Chronologically speaking.
But one time they were showing the movie Modern Times
with Charlie Chaplin.
With Charlie Chaplin at a fundraiser with a live orchestra.
Oh, was it fun?
It was great. It was
Because I love
a
when
very
they
good
raise
orchestra
fun.
here in Los Angeles, and was a big fundraiser. Yes, right.
And fun was had by all.
Yes, fun was had by all.
Like Alan Fun.
Right.
Yes.
Who used to live down the street from me.
No kidding.
Yes.
And they do. Do you know what? When I was so we were supposed to talk about my trip.
Hey, when we go over to my house,
Yes.
we'll shoot the neighborhood, and I'll say, and here's where
And
Alan
here's that,
Funk used
and
to
here's
live.
that.
And I have to tell you,
Are there
Alan,
hidden cameras on his property?
he doesn't. He's no longer around, and it was sold.
Hmm.
The family sold it 10 years ago.
It might
15?
be like that roll of film I found the other day that was never developed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you develop it yet?
No.
Well, let's do that.
Okay, we'll have to. Crew of one.
There must be a drugstore somewhere. Maybe
It might be blank. I don't know.
might be pictures of
and
Jim
who
Henson
develops things? Oh, I wish. I didn't. That's. I'll have to tell you later. Do you know? Did I tell
I
you
know
about
there's
that
a story behind that.
There
I know
is.
about that. Yeah. And she'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Because that's in keeping with the theme.
The theme. Speaking of
theme.
theme. Okay, so.
Hey, we could
Are you-
change the name of this show to Tell You Now. By the way, we're nearing the end of
The first season.
The first season.
Hey, high fives.
Oh, there's a pandemic going on.
That's all right.
I don't-
You're breathing in my
Okay.
face.
Also,
you can give me high fives.
I don't do that anymore. So
Whoa. If
so-
that were a magic trick, I bet you could poke your finger right through my hand.
we're
Oh, look,
considering.
here it is.
Oh, okay.
The roll of film. The sad.
Why don't you pull it out and
But
look at it?
doesn't it look like?
don't.
I think it's brand new, actually.
Oh.
It probably isn't undeveloped because
Well,
when it's all
can
done,
take
you roll it.
I'm sure some learned teenager at the drugstore
you
will
guys, you probably don't know, but this is called a roll of film from a film camera.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to put it in your 35 millimeter camera. And
know.
then
35.
And then these are called sprocket holes.
Mm-hmm.
And they can they attach to a sprocket. And then you turn the knob. You've probably seen a camera, so that pulls the film and you take pictures. But when it's all done, and this is why I believe this actually isn't undeveloped, you turn the film back in, roll it all up in here, and then this flap ends up inside and it's completely sealed up. Because if it's exposed to the light, it will cause the picture not to show. And so, therefore, there's nothing to look forward, nothing to see here, so to speak, because there's probably nothing on that.
But luckily, we're in Los Angeles, where they have a lot of professionals who know about film and still. And so the place on Fairfax, you can
When
take
we
it
used
there.
to travel, Will and I, he didn't have a camera.
Before El Pandemia.
But as you can see, I had a camera. But you don't know, like now, when you're taking these your electronic digital pictures, you can see right away if it's any good. Will would say, take another one, take another one, take another one. You don't know if it's going to come out or not. So I have like all these pictures of you.
Oh, really?
Well, you and because somebody else was maybe taking it of us because we couldn't. You can't do it yourself with this with those kind of cameras because you can't see. It was a different life back then, wasn't it?
It was.
It was very different.
But I learned that early on because I was in a band and we were signed to CBS Records, which was Columbia and Epic. And we did a couple of professional photo sessions. And I noticed that for one album cover, they'd take 300 or 400 pictures at least.
Because you never
just
know.
for the one
you
picture.
don't know if it's going to come out. Because, the point is
don't
you
know
have to
how good it's
send
gonna
it
be.
to a lab.
Especially if there are 4 or 5 people in a band. Everybody has
One
to
could
look
be
good.
looking the wrong way.
Well, right, somebody's
One
blinking.
could have
Everybody,
heat
people
bar on
blink.
their face.
That's why robots, once they have robot bands,
They're much better to photograph because
Yes.
they know how to pose.
yeah, and they don't blink if
They
you don't
can
want them
sit still.
to. Yeah.
I told Brock
Obama?
Powell if he were my
Obama?
son, his
What?
name would
Wait
be
a minute.
Broccoli. Broccoli.
Especially if you were Irish. Broccoli.
Okay. So why am I wearing a hat? I'm wearing a hat because I wasn't wearing a hat in the last episode, and I wanted to make us look different.
Also, it's a hat from San Diego. Rock and roll.
What does it say?
Rock and roll San Diego.
Rock and Roll San Diego, because the crew of one is a rock star.
Yeah, it's true. We don't discuss it much, but we will. We'll tell you later.
Yep, he's a total rock star. We will have him. Maybe one day we'll have him on in his full
Regalia.
Is that what you call it?
I do.
I
yes.
call it a costume, but
Okay, you call
regalia.
it
I like
outfit.
regalia. It sounds like he should have a cape.
Military people love it when you refer to what they wear as costumes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And they don't like you to call it regalia?
No, they prefer the term costume or.
I'd like to regalia with some regalia. Is that can't you say
With
that?
stories of regalia.
With stories of regalia.
Yeah, right. Oh, wait a
Or
minute.
like it
No,
would
they don't like
behoove
it.
you
That's
to
it.
care for your uvula.
Really? And gentlemen who expect to rate should not expect to rate.
That's right. So I was.
So good advice from Tell You Later.
There you go.
Right. Maybe we should make a book of good advice from Tell You Later.
We could.
Yeah.
Because we've written books. We have a book. You have many, many books.
I have a few.
You have the little cowboy poetry book of haiku.
Mm-hmm.
Haiku. Depending on where you're
Low
from.
IQ haiku.
Low IQ.
So they could be appreciated.
That could be
And there's that train again.
second episode, second
It's that errant,
edition.
that errant,
Part 2.
That errant train of thought.
Hey, Haiku Part 2. Haiku. Great minds say the same things.
Fly by night.
Okay.
Great minds fly by night.
So we have that. We have Adventures in Oddity, which is our book that
Yes,
we
the new
wrote,
improved
and
edition.
the new improved bonus edition,
With 58 new pages.
and
Including lots of new cartoons.
yeah,
Here's the old one.
The old one is red. The
They're
new
only-
one is green. And I don't think it's in that box, Crew of One. Oh, yeah, he found one.
Yes.
See, look, you can see they're heftier. It's much heftier. If you look at them side by side, look how much more pages you get. How much more?
How much more pages?
If you were buying books by weight, this is...
Here.
Yes.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, this one's heavier.
It's 58 more pages. But if you get the audio version of the book,
And this one
much more music
This one
than
has
the book.
more artwork.
Yeah, it has more.
Oh, that's right.
because you
More
did-
music in the audio version.
And you did all the drawings.
Yes. Well,
Most,
kind of.
Yes, you did.
I did. I did all the original drawings.
Yeah.
We have some historical recreations in there
Do
as
we?
well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So this is our book, Adventure, which I think we've told the story how. Well, it just bears repeating because it's so remarkable. So when I was in Florida.
We found these two
with-
people who look just like we used to look 30 years ago.
Yeah, but even longer than that ago. And
that's right.
I said, hey, Will, will you take a picture with me? Because I want to do commercials, and we had to do pictures. And then we did this picture, and we look like the characters we play on Adventures in Odyssey.
Yeah.
Eugene
Before those
Meltzner
characters
and
existed.
And
Yeah.
Connie Kendall, before they existed.
Yeah.
And that's pretty darn awesome. So we had to write a book about it.
People were wondering about this shirt, and I'm wearing the same shirt this week. And we'll save this for the end, right?
All right. So I was in Florida with Phil Lawler. Phil Lawler. I think that should be one name, one word, Phil Lawler. And it was a homeschool convention.
Then it should be philately.
It's so many. I'll put a stamp on that. Anyhow, that's my endorsement.
We gotta stamp that out.
Stamp out philately.
I think we could lick it.
Oh, that would be great.
If you want to stamp it out,
Let's go down
I
to
guess
the mint.
I'll
Let's
let
go
her.
to the mint and have a protest.
I'll let her.
Stamp.
I'm repeating that so she can hear
I
it.
get it now.
Right, right.
All right. A letter kind of sounds like Phil Lawler.
Well, no, Frank a letter. Bringing up Buddy.
Okay.
He used to be, back at the Academy when they showed films, there used to be a whole group of
You
people.
all know you used to go to the
At
Academy,
the Motion Picture
right?
Academy, on weekends there would be films. And I would go with June Foray. And across the aisle from us was Vincent, a great director at Warner Brothers back in the 40s.
Manelli?
No.
A different Vincent?
Yeah. And he was an actor in the early 30s. And he's in a terrific movie, I think it was called Counselor at Law, with John Barrymore. One of John Barrymore's last great films.
I was trying to give you a compliment that
Oh.
people were asking about you at this homeschool convention because we were there.
Oh, you're going to tell us about the
signing-
homeschool convention.
Yeah, and I made these
And did you
cards
tell them I was
to give
thrown
away
out of
autograph.
Florida?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
want to embarrass you. But I made these cards so that they would know about our show because tell your friends, please, and thank you. We want to thank our patrons who support the show, by the way, and everybody else who's watching. So we just want to get the word out. So I tried to share that. And I saw an armadillo and a snake in the grass. I have pictures.
Really?
Maybe we'll put it, yeah. And and the gator. We saw the alligator guy.
Really?
Yes, and
With alligators or
he
just
had
as
an
a guy?
alligator, and he held it, and I pet it. I got a little scared, and I noticed they tape their mouth shut so they can't
Really?
bite anybody because he said it would be a very bad homeschool convention if the alligator's
Oh,
mouth was not
the
taped.
people tape their mouth shut. Not the
The
alligators.
gator trainer.
Got it.
Mr. Gator Man.
Right.
I don't know. There's a place called Gator Land, and that's who I think he was representing. Gator Land.
Did you go up to an alligator and say, "Tell you later, alligator"?
I should have.
Yes.
Why didn't I think of that?
I know.
Tell you can't sing that song. Can
No,
we?
no, but we could sing "Tell You Later, Mashed Potato."
Okay. Tell you later, mashed potato.
No, that's the wrong
Can't
melody.
do that.
Luckily, you hit some wrong
Wrong
notes
notes
there.
as
so-
usual.
I'll tune this up.
Hey, tell you what, tune that up, and don't we have a song that you were gonna do for?
Oh, that's right. Because the 4th of July is coming up, we have a special, brand new 4th of July song.
And you
which
showed
we'll
up.
be performing maybe next week. But we'll just rehearse it once
Gonna teach
without
it to
the
me?
words. Yeah.
I printed out the lyrics.
Because I want it to be a peppy song.
Peppy.
Yeah, like Pepe Le Moco or something.
Pepe Le Pew.
Well, he gets his name from Pepe Le Moco.
Pee-pee. Is it hard to tune a ukulele?
I was there one time when somebody went up to Mel Blanc and said, I really love Pepe Le Pew. And he said, oh yes, that little French skunk. Except he didn't do it as Pepe Le Pew. He did it in a generic French accent, which I thought was kind of funny.
Maybe he couldn't remember.
Possibly, or, it was just...
So this is the song we're going to do for 4th of July?
well, here's the melody.
Hold on. me get ready.
Wait.
Look.
Sheesh.
Now I'm twinsies with you.
Wow, I gotta get a new mirror. It doesn't show me looking like that at all.
You can barely look at me, can you? You can barely look at me. All right.
What's the matter here? Must be.
Because you dropped the ukulele when it fell on the ground.
That's right. I did. Oh, that
it
was
messed
it.
it up.
Yeah. I think we're back to Norgle.
Norgle.
Yeah.
Hello, Norgle.
You know, once upon a time I was as Norgle as can be.
No,
Yeah.
I do not know.
That's my rewrite of some lyrics I once wrote
okay.
for a song called "Going Quackers," which was performed by Clarence Nash.
Can you sing that?
No.
Are you allowed?
No, I don't own it. No.
Why would you sell your songs?
For
money?
Because Clarence Nash was going to sing it. And
You
it
get
was gonna
royalties?
it was going to be on Donald Duck's big comeback album. And, of course, yes. And plus, very nicely, we had the opportunity, this is in Willio and Filio, to have a guy look
is your
over our
first-
contract
One of your first.
and give us advice on it.
Oh,
And you know who that guy was?
a guy looked over your contract.
And I didn't
gave
even
you
live
advice.
in Los Angeles yet. Yeah, he did it over the telephone. I read everything to him
Walt
over
Disney.
the phone. No. He would have, Walt. Fess Parker told me this once.
Oh.
He had this song called Ringle Wrangle, which he thought would be great for this upcoming movie called Westward Ho the Wagons. So he went up to Walt's office and played it for Walt. And Fess owned the publishing to it. And it was written by Stan Jones, the great songwriter who wrote what we call Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Ah, I know that song.
Yeah, an old cowpoke went riding out. And one dark and windy day. And there's that train again. I don't know
I
if you
know.
can hear that.
We have trains.
It's the errant train of thought that just keeps
Okay,
coming by all
yes.
the time. But anyway, so he played it for Walt. Fess told me this.
and Walt reproduced
and he
it
said,
in another life.
I like it. We're going to use it. He said, but we have to have the publishing to it. And Fess said, but I have the publishing to it. I negotiated the publishing. He said, yeah, but we have to have it. I said, why? He said, it's our policy.
Oh, that's a good.
And
that's a good
and
phrase.
then Fess
It's
thought
our
about it for a
policy.
second, and he said, but wait a minute. Who makes up the policy here? And Walt said, I do.
And there you go.
So there you go.
And then there was Disneyland.
Yeah, but it's worth selling a song to Disney's that
I
Donald Duck
found
is
a
going to do, and I get
Disneyland
royalties.
ticket in my wallet, in my electronic wallet. A couple days ago, I found a ticket for
In an
Disneyland.
electronic wallet?
I have an electronic wallet.
So was it an electronic ticket?
Yes.
Oh, I
It's what we
see.
call an e-ticket.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
not the kind of e-tickets we used to use at Disneyland. That's a different kind of e-ticket, actually. I'll tell you later.
Thanks for watching. Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over, join us for so much more at patreon.com/Tell You Later.
You'll hear the lyrics next week.
He teaches me songs like this all the time. So far, so good. I can do that. That sounds like it's going to be a very good song.